Hello, Steve Arts 89. Well, finally up to Sticky and Sweet. Yeah, it was nice to watch it in HD for a change on Blu-ray. The first Madonna concert was released on Blu-ray. I don't know why Confessions wasn't, but it wasn't. Now, this was a huge tour. I didn't realise how huge it was because I kind of switched off because it was announced from the beginning that she was going to come to Australia. I think that was because it was cancelled here and people were pretty upset, so they made really clear to make sure we knew that she was coming. But it didn't happen. The concert was split in two sort of parts. The first part went from August 23 to December 21, and she was supposed to come to Australia in January. But the financial things got involved. I don't know what happened, but it was cancelled. And then she went on hiatus for like 6 months, and the tour started up again July 4th and ran until September. Finished in Tel Aviv, started in London. So it was a huge tour. Money-wise, it made, 411 million, which is 519 million in 2021 dollars. It was recorded in December in Buenos Aires, and that was broadcast through Sky One, and eventually was put onto Epix, and it was released on Blu-ray and DVD, the same sort of DVD and CD combos which we'd gotten from Confessions, and it was starting to become the routine, and it's better than I remembered, actually, because I only watched it a few times, honestly, and then I ended up listening to the CD all the time and not actually watching the show all the time. But the parts of it I didn't really remember, honestly, because I hadn't watched it that many times. But it's better than I remember, especially the old school section. We've got Into the Groove and that where she's skipping rope and everything. It's pretty amazing. And there's parts of it I love. Like, I love her version of Borderline. I just was obsessed with that for a few months. I just listened to that all the time. I don't know. It's kind of funny. It's kind of that syndrome that you have where you'll have a big hit film, and then the next film won't be as good, but it'll make more money because everyone loved the other film and they went to see the next film. And it's kind of like that. People were so in love with Confessions and the Confessions tour that this tour did better than it probably would have deserved to on merit alone. Like, the album Hard Candy is not as good as Confessions. It's good, but it's not as good. I do love it. And this tour isn't as good as the Confessions tour, but because it had all that goodwill behind it, and Madonna seemed determined to break all the records and that, because the first leg of the tour made like nearly 300 million, and then it was another 129 million for the second part. So I mean, it wasn't split directly in half, so it was just like an extra extension. And it does kill me that she didn't come. But at that point, I just switched off and was like, I can't deal with this. It's like just this repeated trauma of getting excited about this tour and then it not coming or not being able to get to it. And yeah, this just kept happening. And that's why when Rebel Heart was announced, I didn't believe it. And yeah, I'll go into that later. I seriously didn't think it was going to happen. But there's a lot of songs. Not as many old ones as you would have thought, but she wasn't really having to do the crowd policing thing because of all the, like I said, goodwill from Confessions. There was Candy Shop medley, and I love Candy Shop. People go on about how often she plays at her concerts, but I love it. Beat Goes On with Kanye West, Human Nature, Vogue, Die Another Day, but that's just a stage thing. Into the Groove, Heartbeat, Borderline, She's Not Me, Music. There's a little Rain thing, interlude. Devil Wouldn't Recognize You, Spanish Lessons, Miles Away, Les La Bonita medley. Oh my god, the Gypsies. I don't really like the Gypsies. I mean, they're kind of fun, but when they're just singing and Madonna's just sitting with one of the dancers, like drinking, I'm like, what? And she goes into like a slow sort of quiet little Evita section with You Must Love Me and Don't Cry For Me Argentina. Get Stupid gets a medley. Yeah, there was a lot of controversy for that. I didn't realise she compared John McCain to Hitler in that video, but apparently she did. I didn't notice that. I've watched it a couple of times. I didn't see that. JT was there in spirit for 4 minutes. Now, I must admit, I do hate that look. That sort of cross between like sort of like a rave punk and like, you know, American football, like with the big giant shoulder pads and armor and everything. I really hate that look. Like a Prayer was pretty epic. You really get a sense of how big the arena is when it's lit up and you can see the people and the movement, and you realise just how huge the arena is and how many people are there, and you realise how many people go to these concerts, and it kind of occasionally grabs you as how staggering it is, the size and all of that. Ray of Light, I haven't liked the way she's done the last couple of versions of it in these tours. She never really recaptures, or even, I guess, tries to get that sort of free sort of spirit that we had in the first sort of version of it in Drowned World. It was really wild and a lot of free dancing movement. These ones, the last show was really static, and this one is really, she's got like just two dancers and they're moving in these mechanical ways in these sort of motorbike sort of gear, and it's just really cold, and it just doesn't feel like Ray of Light to me. I don't think she lost the spirit of that song, and then it didn't really have the life in your repertoire that I thought it was going to have. I thought we would see a lot more. Like a Virgin is like a crowd request, I mean, she remembers most of the lyrics, she sings most of it, but I never understand why when they ask the audience to sing, why don't they put a mic in the audience? Because you see people are singing, but you can never hear them. It just doesn't make any sense. Now, Hung Up, she had a guitar. It was pretty good. This is the section, because of course they're split into 4 sections. There was the pimp section, the old school section, the gypsy section, the rave section. This is the rave section, and I kind of like the aesthetic, the sort of black sort of motorcycle sort of gear, sort of, they look like ninjas or sort of army or something. It's a nice mix of just all these little elements for it. But Give It To Me is probably my favourite, and that's the last one, so it was nice that it ends off on that. And the energy is pretty amazing. The dancing, everyone's on stage. It's pretty good. But yeah, the show isn't as good as Confessions, just like the album isn't as good as Confessions. And much like music benefited from Ray of Light, this benefits from Confessions, I think. But I mean, it's still good. I do enjoy it. And what else was there? There's something else about this I had to talk about. Oh yeah, the size of it, of course. 31 countries. Like, the Virgin Tour was 2 countries, Who's That Girl was 8 countries, Blonde Ambition was 11 countries, The Girly Show was 11 countries, Drowned World was 6 countries, Reinvention was 7 countries, Confessions was 11 countries, this was 31 countries. She really seemed to be trying to get around all the people that she hadn't been to for a while or hadn't been to at all. So that was pretty amazing, although at all those 32 countries didn't include Australia. There should have been 32 countries. And yeah, 85 shows, which was the most she did. Because the most she did before that, I think, was 56 shows for the Reinvention. No, 60 shows for Confessions, actually. That was the last biggest. So 85. So that was like that extra leg of 25 shows that sort of pushed it over the edge. But yeah, I think I'm done. I love it. We were really kind of spoiled for Madonna concerts in the late 90s and the early noughties and the 2000s, because we sort of had this big drought after Girly Show, and I don't think we really knew what to expect with the first couple of shows. And then once we sort of got into a bit of a routine, and she sort of was very much the touring artist, she was making more money through touring than she was through the album sales. It did sort of, we were spoiled. It was a nice period to be a Madonna fan. But I'm going to go, and I've got MDNA tonight, and then tomorrow I'm going to do the last 2, Rebel Heart and Madam X. But I'm going to go now. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Thanks. Bye.